Hello, my name is Vicki, aka the Hangry Explorer, and welcome to my Edinburgh vlog. This morning I have arrived at Bournemouth Airport. It has been a very long time since I have flown from here. It's 8:15 in the morning and we're due to arrive in Edinburgh at about 11:30. The plan is we're going to get the tram into the city centre. We have got an absolutely jam-packed 4 days ahead of us. It is my first time visiting Edinburgh, but everybody assures me that it is an absolutely magical city to visit, especially at this time of year. We're hoping to do lots of Christmas activities. So if you want to see what Edinburgh is like in December, be sure to watch this video and follow along.
The trams are easy to use and run regularly from outside Edinburgh Airport. We pre-booked our tickets for £9.25 per adult, which gave us an open airport return, and it takes about 30 minutes to get into the city centre. By pre-booking, you get sent a QR code so you can just hop on the tram whenever you're ready. We stayed in the Apex Waterloo Place Hotel in a city room. The hotel was in a great central location, and as you can see, the room was a very generous size. It also has an on-site spa should you need this for your stay. The bed was comfy and the room was dark at night, giving us 3 great night sleeps. I'll leave a comment with the link to the hotel so you can check it out for yourselves. Shortly after checking into our hotel, we headed off to the Chocolatarium for our chocolate workshop. Our host Mackenzie was very knowledgeable and told us all about the history of chocolate, with lots of samples included. We then had the chance to make our own chocolate bar, so of course I made a Highland Coup. Even if you don't do the workshop, their shop has lots of weird and wonderful flavours to try, including a haggis flavoured bar.
So we've come down to the Christmas at the Botanics. And it looks like there's a lovely trail ahead of us. We'll show you some of the highlights along the way. Off to a good start. Some pretty little lights in the grass and lots of Christmas music. So I was torn between the 2 main light events here in Edinburgh. So there's one castle, Christmas lights at the castle, and that's meant to be a more cinematic experience. So I was tempted by that one, but the reason why I picked the Christmas at the Botanics is because it's more of a trail. You can take your own time, just wander around at your own pace, and it's definitely meant to be a little bit more chilled out, which I think is probably a good call because it's not overly busy here this evening. So yeah, it's quite nice. So we've just finished, we're just about to head off, try and find some food. That was really good. We only spent about 40 minutes here, 45 minutes. We still took our time, but they had loads of different lights, lots of different displays. I do thoroughly recommend it. It wasn't too busy. We are here on a Thursday evening, so that probably is different at weekends, but yeah, it was really good fun. We didn't get any food here just because it is quite expensive. I looked at the marshmallows and you can build your own like toppings and everything, but it was £7.50, which I thought was a little bit steep. I just wanted a couple of plain marshmallows to toast, but we're going to see what's open on the way back to the hotel, even if we just grab something quite basic and non-festive, just to fill our bellies, get an early night, and then up tomorrow morning for a guided tour of Edinburgh Castle. Hey guys! So it is day 2 in Edinburgh. We had a good night's sleep in our hotel. We have just had a fantastic breakfast, and that has set us up for what we have planned for today. First up will be a guided tour. We're going to head down to Edinburgh Castle, but we are meeting our tour guide here at the statue of David Hume.
We started out on the Royal Mile, which gave us some history of the city and led us nicely onto the castle. I really love looking at old buildings and learning, but find a lot of reading is overwhelming. So if you're like me, a guide is a must. Plus, they'll give you lots of local tips you may otherwise miss out on.
So we finished our guided tour with Eddie Tours. Our tour guide was called John and he was absolutely amazing. I would thoroughly recommend coming and doing a guided tour, especially with John. It's just really nice because there's a lot of history around Edinburgh and the castle especially. So both military and royal history, and there's lots of museums here that you can take your time to walk around after you've had your guided tour. So that's what we're doing now. We're just waiting for the cannon to fire. It is absolute carnage. It's not even a busy day according to the tour guide, but there we go. So we were just waiting for that. What he recommended is seeing trying to see the cannon fire, and then making your way to the crown jewels, because there was quite a big queue for the crown jewels earlier, and he just said everybody's waiting around after the cannon fires to be like, what's next? And yeah, little tip from him, nothing happens next. There's no pomp, no ceremony. So yeah, we're getting in the queue now for the crown jewels. We can't film in there, so I'm going to turn the camera off and I'll see you later.
Good afternoon. So we spent an hour and a half to 2 hours with our lovely tour guide over at Edinburgh Castle, and then I have to admit I got a little bit museumed out. There is so much to take in and absorb that I would probably say allocate a whole day to visiting Edinburgh Castle, and if you get done in less time then you've got bonus time to explore the city. We ended up really needing coffee and a cake, and we also wanted to tick off Arthur's Seat today because the weather over the next couple of days looks to be quite rainy and quite windy, and apparently it can be quite dangerous even though it's a relatively simple hike. So that is where we have headed off to now, and yeah, I'll try and show you some of the footage along the way. So almost at the very top, as you can see, it's quite rocky and it can be a little bit slippy in places. I have seen some very questionable shoe choices on the walk up here, so I would say do yourself a favour, make sure you've got proper walking boots and not your Nikes or your Adidas on. Make sure you definitely are wearing sturdy shoes because it can be quite slippy, and the ground can be definitely quite uneven. The views up here, however, are fantastic, even though it's quite cloudy today. I'm gonna scramble my way up to the top and try and capture a little bit of footage to share with you from up there.
We walked through the Christmas markets on the Friday evening and felt it was a little bit too busy for us. We did prefer looking at the stalls on the Thursday afternoon, but it definitely doesn't have as much festive ambience in the daylight, so it's up to you what you prefer to do when you visit the Christmas markets, if you visit them at all. then decided to take a cosy stroll and try and get a seat at the world famous Makars mash bar. We didn't try the haggis, but the lamb was delicious and we thought it was fairly reasonably priced for Edinburgh.
Good morning and welcome to day 3 of my Edinburgh vlog. Today it is a little bit rainy outside, so we are going to be getting around the city, mainly using the tram. First thing this morning we're going to go and find some breakfast, and we are heading over towards the Royal Yacht Britannia. They have got their Christmas decorations up, so hopefully it's all festive over there, and I think there's quite a few places where we can grab coffee and a pastry.
Again, the trams were really easy to use. Just make sure you tap on and off before and after each of your journeys. We found a cafe called the Irish Dude, which served great coffee and was close to the Royal Yacht Britannia. The entrance is in a shopping mall, but once you get inside it really comes to life. I actually really enjoyed the introduction experience with lots of information and memorabilia. Once on board, there's a useful audio tour. I'd recommend using their handsets as the guide kept cutting out on my phone. If you're a royalist or just enjoyed the TV series The Crown, this is a great addition to your Edinburgh trip. Getting to see how the royal family used this vessel, hearing the stories about their guests and the crew, and seeing all the clocks set to 3:01 p.m, marking the time Queen Elizabeth II stepped off the ship for the final time. We then spent the afternoon ticking off some of Edinburgh's must-sees. First was Dean Village. It was beautiful and good to start our Harry Potter themed afternoon, although it was absolutely packed with tourists, especially the bridge, which did detract from its charm. Next up was Victoria Street. It's only small but so pretty and definitely made me want to get the Diagon Alley Lego set. Just look at the queue for the Harry Potter shop. Then we went to visit a statue of the goodest boy, Greyfriars Bobby, who is known for spending 14 years guarding the grave of his owner. Bobby now rests in the cemetery nearby, as does Thomas Riddle, a grave often visited by the numerous Harry Potter tours for inspiring a certain villain.
Hello and welcome to the 4th and final day of my Edinburgh vlog. This morning we have just come out for a short walk. By short, I literally mean a couple of minutes out the door of the hotel, and we have reached pretty much the top of Calton Hill. We have got to catch a flight just after lunch. We're just taking a final wander around the city this morning, ticking off the things that we haven't had time to do, and there is a cafe up here as well, so we're going to go check out the breakfast just to give us enough energy to see us through to our flight. Hello! So that is a wrap on our Edinburgh vlog. We have spent 3 wonderful nights here at the Apex Waterloo Place Hotel, so we're going to be checking out at midday. That does give us a couple of hours before our flight,
so we're going to try and find somewhere for some coffee and cake and then get the tram back over to the airport. It's been a wonderful stay in Edinburgh. Thoroughly recommend it for everyone, although it has been absolute carnage the last couple of days, as you could probably expect in the run up to Christmas and everyone doing their Christmas shopping. But Edinburgh is an absolutely beautiful city and would thoroughly recommend it to anyone. We killed a little bit of time going up to Calton Hill. We had some lovely breakfast, saw some great views, and then we finished up with going to Gladstone's Land, which is a National Trust site. Although it is a Scottish National Trust site, it is one of the premises that do actually allow the English National Trust membership cards in for free. Yeah, it's really interesting to see how people would have lived in those buildings in Edinburgh back in the day. So another thing that we would thoroughly recommend, and it only took about 45 minutes. So yeah, it's really good to finish off our stay. So I hope you really enjoyed watching this vlog on Edinburgh and look forward to seeing you in the next one.